everybody, Hobo4Craft, aka MrHobo here, bringing you guys another StarCraft 2 Shoutcast. And let me just say first off that in advance I apologize if I do get a little bit of choppiness. My FPS while recording has been jumping up and down a lot, despite me upgrading my computer recently. I think it might be my hard drive or something, because that's the only thing that I haven't gotten around to getting something new of. So not quite sure. I've tried a lot, and I really didn't want to distract you guys with like it jumping a lot, so I've been working on that a lot and kind of delaying a video. But anyway, it looks like we are going to have boom, LiquidTyler, the baller red Protoss spawning on the bottom left here, versus ONEShield, very good Terran player, and they are going to be spawning adjacent to each other, so it's going to be a close spawn here. And LiquidTyler, of course, I'm 99% sure that he did get accepted into the North American StarCraft League. How could he not have, with that extremely classy champagne and chested hair chested application that he put forth? That was extremely difficult for me to say. Hopefully you guys got the gist. But it looks like we are going to have a standard opening here for ONEShield. Going to be throwing down that barracks relatively close to that ramp. Doesn't really need to block off in any situation against Protoss here. And LiquidTyler is definitely not going to be blocking off. That is a bad idea versus Terran. You of course can get your pylon sniped off very easily. Any other building sniped off very easily, especially by Marauders, which as we all know are very good. Versus buildings, they can take down a Nexus with a drop. With just like 4 Marauders, that's always seemed insane to me. How in the midst of a battle, a Terran can just drop in a natural and with 4 stimmed Marauders just take on an expansion in no time. Yeah, looks like we have gotten the gas and we're throwing down that Cyber Core, going for a relatively fast second gas. Normally you see it more around 22-ish, so he could be gearing up for a fast tech to something. Maybe a Robo facility, who knows, but we are getting that orbital command for our good friend ONEShield. He is throwing down that tech lab, so he is going for a pretty standard opening. Of course has that refinery. How else would he have a tech lab? He's going for a Marauder, of course, and he will be getting that small little defensive force that can also push out and cause a lot of trouble for that Protoss early on in the game if he does decide to push. Though by the looks of it, he's not throwing down any other barracks as of yet. Maybe I spoke too soon, and it looks like LiquidTyler is going to get a scout up in here, and he is going to see everything's pretty normal, but he did miss this expansion. ONEShield being very cautious not to throw that down before that probe did die, so is going to deny that intel, and we're actually just going to say, yeah, it's going to be a 3-gate. We could even see a 4-gate. We see 2 stalkers out, so we could even see maybe a quick blink stalker, because normally you don't see 2 stalkers. You see a zealot stalker that will push out, maybe try to harass a little bit, get a little bit of scouting, like you could see the Terran do with this little unit composition here. But 2 stalker and a sentry on the way. So it's going to be a very mobile force so far. We are getting that bunker up. Very good idea if you're going to be getting that expansion. And ONEShield is following this up with a couple more barracks. This is a very safe build and pretty flexible. You can only use 1 gas and still be able to pull off all the units that you need. As far as Marauders go, they only cost 25 gas. We can see our friend already has 200, so that's a good 8 Marauders right there. No problem, all off of 1 gas. And we're going to have a bunch of sentries actually. So Tyler actually, in my opinion, or in my theory, he could actually be suspecting this expansion. Maybe as it lands, he'll deny his opponent from coming to defend it by blocking the ramp with a couple of force fields, which definitely would be an interesting play. That's my only reasoning for all these sentries. In the meantime, he is throwing down an expansion of his own. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to contain his opponent and in the meantime macro up. And this is just going to be annoying for ONEShield if he does get contained in his base for a while, because he just threw down this expansion and now he potentially might not be able to use it. ONEShield, if you guys did notice, did pull a couple of SCVs to be able to repair this bunker right away, so definitely very cognizant play right there. Tyler hopefully not going to be caught off guard. He definitely needs to have these sentries a little bit closer so he can cut off this army here. But a factory is going down, and yeah, we are getting that second gas to be able to supply all that gas that we will need for our factory, especially if you get tanks or Thors from that. In the meantime, we do have, it's going to be a robotics facility getting thrown down, and he might just tech to Colossi from here. It's going to be pretty easy when he does have the second base, though he's going to need to get his gases pretty quickly here if he is going to want to do that. And if he delays on that for a pretty long time, then we could suspect that he's not going to be trying to do that. Getting that observer out right away, chrono boosting that, very good idea. In the meantime, ONEShield just scouting around is going to be able to move out. LiquidTyler did not want to overstay his welcome, definitely a good idea. And ONEShield is now just going to be going into macro mode as soon as this natural goes down. You can see we have one reactor barracks, we have two tech lab barracks, and we are going, oh okay, a reactor on this factory. Maybe he just wants it for the starport. Maybe a couple Hellions to scout, and maybe get any light armored units, though we don't have any zealots, so my guess is the factory was only for tech purposes. Poor little factory. You are important though. Looks like he's just now starting to saturate his third gas. And LiquidTyler is actually getting his fourth, so he has all four gases now. And he's getting another observer, always a good idea. Will we get a robotics bay anytime soon? We're getting that forge. Definitely like that to stop any potential Banshee harass that would come with photon cannons, or just to get upgrades, which definitely is probably the smartest thing to do. We are going to see that +1 attack right there. And oh my gosh, I haven't had production tab up this whole time. Sorry guys. Little out of it. Pretty early in the morning right now. But we can see that we are getting combat shields right now for our Terran friend ONEShield. He is pumping out 2 medevacs, so yes, it is going to be a swap that we see with that factory. And it looks like he is just going into macro mode here. Though we do see that Tyler is a little bit ahead as far as gas goes, which really is going to be the most important thing. Though he's just going for pure gateway units, I guess. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways here. 6 gateways definitely can be very effective, and ONEShield actually has a surprisingly very, very tiny amount of units. What has he been doing this whole game? Oh, this could look very bad for ONEShield. I didn't even realize the deficit. Going to Army tab, however, they're just... Oh no, we have it... Oh, it was a drop in the meantime. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It looks like this could be very bad for LiquidTyler. He's losing a lot of probes. He lost a couple units over here. This stem with the Marauders is going to be very effective. It looks like LiquidTyler is going to go straight for this medevac. Smartest thing to do. He really needs to get rid of this medevac so all these units cannot escape. And wow, LiquidTyler just lost so many units right there from that tiny little drop. But he just warped so many back in. Looking at the Army tab, he replenished that so quickly. Just very well played by ONEShield, though. I was kind of baffled. I thought, I was wondering where his whole army went. He had been pumping units out the whole game. What do you know? He had been going for a drop, silly me. Though I think he just picked off a pylon or two over here and really just went in straight for the probe line. And we're just going to get mass chrono boost on all these gateways. It looks like Tyler's gearing up for this really heavy final push. Final, that is, if he can manage to make it so. He does not have any Colossi, which really is the heart of the Protoss army composition this late in the game usually. And these bunkers are really going to be hard to get around, though. He's making a nice wall, cutting off all these units. It looks like the bunkers will be focus fired down. No mules or SCVs will be taken off the mineral line to repair. It looks like a tank just now getting out. No siege mode for it. It looks like all these units are getting blasted away by the stalkers. Marauders returning fire, stimming up. Medevacs in the meantime healing everything in sight. And it looks like the siege tank is going to do its fair share. And it's going to be a small reinforcement from LiquidTyler, and it looks like that was obliterated by ONEShield. And now we have LiquidTyler on the back foot. It is not looking good. Look at this food deficit. 40 food in favor of ONEShield, really. Right now, ONEShield could definitely just take the game by, yep, okay, wow, looks like he read my mind, by taking another expansion and slowly moving out. He has Siege Tech now, and he can just easily take map control. LiquidTyler just now getting Zealots for, I think, the first time in the game. And he is getting that Twilight Council for Zealot charge, most definitely, to make them useful, because this late in the game with all this concussive shell and just siege tank fire, you won't even be able to get your Zealots near the Terran army unless you have Zealot charge. So that's what he is doing exactly. Those Zealots very good against Marauders once they get right up in their face. Also getting Immortals for the same cause to dish away with all of these mechanically armored units. And a LiquidTyler really just going to try to come back. The only way he can stay in this game and then perhaps prevail is if he does go for another expansion, though he's going to be a little hard pressed to do so. His army is not very mobile, whereas we can see a lot of drops from ONEShield, and that really could be the deciding factor of LiquidTyler not wanting to move out. But you can just see how much damage one blow from an Immortal will do to a Marauder right there. In the meantime, Tyler been placing his observers very well, and he is seeing everything that he needs to. And if I were LiquidTyler in this situation, I would be in panic mode. I would be warping in everything I can. I would be pep talking my probes, because they probably will be in the fight pretty soon here. Though if he can get his charge, I would be chrono boosting this out right now, because if he can get this, he might stand a fair chance with the amount of Zealots he has, which is a ton. And these Immortals are going to do their fair share as well, I do think. If he can get 2 really clutch force fields, or even more, because he does have a good amount of energy on them, he could possibly do enough damage to make ONEShield back off. But it looks like he's going to be stimming, kiting, and he's going to leave his siege tanks wide open. These Zealots are just swarming around everything. These Immortals are coming to clean up. It's just going to be Guardian Shields as of right now. No force fields. He does not need them. These Zealots are cleaning everything up, but it looks like the stim of the Marines and Marauders is going to be too much with these medevacs. And I don't know if we will see LiquidTyler be able to hold this off. The Immortals still blasting away with their double cannons. And the Zealot charge is just running over everything. Even the stimming Marines that are running away. And ONEShield actually is going to lift everything off and go back home. This is pretty amazing that he's been able to do away with this. He's dropping everything now on the back lines while the Zealots are distracted up front. I think almost all the Immortals will go away. That was a nice little drop from ONEShield. But he is dropping right in the midst of all of these Zealots swarming around everything. And they will just get cut up in no time. And will this pure Zealot army composition be able to win Tyler the game? This is unbelievable. It looks like the food count is now about even when Tyler earlier was just about doubled. He is in the main now of ONEShield, wreaking havoc. Stray Marines that are just being built are not having a good day for sure. And Tyler is just wreaking havoc. He has free reign in the base of ONEShield right now, just getting rid of all of the units that are being pumped out of all of these barracks. If he can go and just take a couple of Zealots here to the mineral line, he'll be in great shape. It looks like he is pulling off the mineral line here, and all of these, oh my gosh, all of these SCVs are going to go down, and ONEShield is going to call good game. LiquidTyler takes the game with a buttload of Zealots and Immortals. Wow. What an amazing effort to stay in the game after he seemingly lost. After that huge push, his whole army obliterated. ONEShield 1 base up. Wow, really kudos to LiquidTyler, and that is why he is so baller. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Hobo4Craft signing out.